Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. What's happening to Sharon on The Young and the Restless? The Young and the Restless fans can't stop talking about Sharon case, as she spirals. For months, Sharon was MIA, returning just in time for Joshua Morrow to celebrate 30 years as Nick Newman. After her return, it was easy for Y&R fans to see something was off with Sharon. Although Sharon keeps saying it's her meds, the recent accident with Faith, Raylan Castor, seems to have pushed her to the brink. The accident was all too familiar of the night Cassie, Cameron Grimes, was been on Sharon's mind since she and Nick shared their life history with Faith, died. Adding Cameron, Lyndon Ashby, to the mix has only increased the curiosity about what's really going on with Sharon. Sharon is no stranger to mental health issues, having been diagnosed with bipolar disorder back in 2012, after a series of events that were very unlike her, which included her burning down the Newman Ranch. Her bipolar disorder was revealed. Based on the way Sharon has been acting, especially seeing Cassie and hallucinating Cameron, all signs point to her having another bipolar episode. It's unclear what direction the writers are going, but this isn't a new storyline. We have seen Sharon's past struggles with bipolar, including her spending time in a mental health facility to get help. Some twists make this storyline different though, as it keeps tapping into the death of Cassie. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Cameron pushes Sharon to explore her dark side, taking the storyline to a new level. Fans shouldn't expect Sharon to get help anytime soon, even though her family will soon push for her to do so. It's a safe bet this will play out well into November sweeps. Thanks to Joshua, we know that Nick finally gets more of a clue because of Faith's accident. Speaking with Soap Opera Digest to talk about the car accident and a fragile Sharon, Joshua admitted that the incident caused Nick to be on high alert regarding his ex-wife. Finally, Nick really sees in the ER just how fragile Sharon has become, and it rocks him to his core. Nick knows Sharon better than anyone, and he knows what she went through the first time around with her bipolar disorder. It's a very scary situation. He's very concerned and scared for her, Joshua expressed to the outlet. Unfortunately, Nick only has a sliver of information about Sharon's situation, as she has told no one about Cameron. Getting her help won't be easy, but Joshua assured fans that Nick will step up to the plate for her. Sharon Newman, a pillar of strength in Genoa City, has always been the embodiment of resilience. Yet as the summer sun casts long shadows over the Abbott mansion and the glistening towers of Newman Enterprises, it seems those very shadows have begun to creep into Sharon's life, threatening to upend the fragile peace she's fought so hard to maintain. Lately, the coffeehouse buzz has been more than just about caffeine. Whispers about Sharon have been swirling through crimson lights like the aroma of freshly brewed coffee. Those close to her notice the subtle changes, the way she lingers a little too long by the window, lost in thought, or how her once easy smile now seems more like a mask, hiding something deeper, something darker. It all started with a letter. Sharon, in her daily routine, almost missed it. It was tucked between bills and glossy advertisements, the kind that usually end up in the recycling bin without a second glance. But this one, plain and unassuming, caught her eye. No return address, just her name scrawled in a familiar hand she couldn't quite place. With a sense of foreboding, she tore it open. The contents were cryptic yet chilling. "I know what you did, it's not over." For anyone else, it might have been dismissed as a prank. But Sharon's life has been a tapestry of secrets, some buried so deep even she tries to forget them. The letter dredged up memories she thought she'd laid to rest, memories of a time when her world was spiraling out of control, when she made choices in the name of survival, choices she's never fully forgiven herself for. Sharon's first instinct was to confide in someone. Ray would have been the obvious choice, but with his own life tangled in the endless web of Genoa City's drama, she hesitated. They had only just begun to find a semblance of normalcy, and she didn't want to rock the boat, so she tucked the letter away, hoping it was a one-time thing, a cruel joke by someone with too much time on their hands. But it wasn't. The letters kept coming, each one more threatening than the last. You can't hide forever. The truth always comes out. Sharon found herself jumping at every sound, her mind racing with possibilities. Who could be behind this? Someone from her past? A new enemy? Or worse, an old friend? As the days turned into weeks, the strain began to show. Sharon, once the steady rock for her family and friends, started to crack under the pressure. At Crimson Lights, her sanctuary, she became distant, her usual warmth replaced by a cold detachment. The customers noticed, the regulars whispering amongst themselves, wondering if the pressures of her past were finally catching up to her. Her children, Faith and Mariah, were the first to confront her. They'd seen their mother go through so much: cancer, heartbreak, betrayal. But this was different. There was a fear in Sharon's eyes they hadn't seen before, and it scared them. But when they asked, Sharon brushed them off with a forced smile and a quick change of subject. She couldn't burden them with this, not when she wasn't even sure what this was. But secrets in Genoa City have a way of surfacing, and it wasn't long before others began to notice Sharon's unraveling. Nick, always attuned to Sharon's moods, couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. He tried to talk to her, to offer his support, but Sharon was a fortress, keeping everyone at arm's length. It was as if she was preparing for a battle only she could fight. The breaking point came one stormy night. Sharon was closing up the coffee house, the rain hammering against the windows, when she noticed a figure standing just outside the door. Her heart leaped into her throat. For a moment she was paralyzed with fear, her mind racing with images of all the people who could be out there, waiting to confront her. She forced herself to move, to approach the door. But when she stepped outside, the figure was gone, leaving only a puddle where they'd been standing. A flash of lightning illuminated the street, and Sharon caught sight of something on the ground. Another letter. With trembling hands she opened it, the paper already damp from the rain. "It's time." Sharon's world spun. The words were like a death knell, a final countdown to whatever nightmare was about to descend upon her. She realized she couldn't keep this to herself any longer. She needed help, but from whom? And who could she trust? The next morning, Sharon did something she hadn't done in years. She reached out to Adam Newman. Their past was complicated, marred by betrayal and manipulation, but Sharon knew that if anyone understood the darkness that could lurk in one's life, it was Adam. He had his demons, and maybe, just maybe, he could help her face hers. Adam was surprised to hear from her, but he agreed to meet. As they sat in his penthouse, Sharon recounted everything: the letters, the figure in the rain, the mounting terror that had taken over her life. Adam listened, his expression unreadable, but his eyes told her he was taking this seriously. "We'll figure this out, Sharon," Adam said, his voice calm but with an edge that suggested he was already planning his next move. "Whoever is behind this won't get away with it." But as Sharon left the penthouse, she couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning, the calm before the storm. She glanced at the skyline of Genoa City, the towering buildings standing tall against the rising sun, and wondered how many more secrets were hidden in those shadows, how many more battles she would have to fight before she could find peace. For now, all she could do was prepare for the storm that was coming, knowing that this time she might not come out unscathed. The letters, the shadows, the figure in the rain, it all pointed to one truth. Sharon was no longer just a survivor. She was a target, and the game was far from over.